can you see that you still don't know what it means? It's just what you're seeing, because that is the next step, what it means. So the next step is called flicker, FL, for lessons. And that's the step where you say, what can I learn from these facts? What can I learn? So when you're looking for a lesson, sometimes it's helpful if you say to yourself, is there anything that struck me as unusual in this particular passage? Because that can sometimes point to a lesson, is something unusual. When you're looking for a lesson, you could say, let me look at it from a different point of view. We'll do that in a second. Or you can, when you're looking for a lesson, you can say, what does this tell me anything about God's personality? So, we're looking for a lesson. Let's go back to the first one I mentioned, looking for something that's unusual, that struck you as unusual. Now, from the fact that God was so specific, telling Abram what he should leave, leave your country, your relatives, your father's household, is very specific, and go to an unspecific place. That seems a little unusual, doesn't it? So, a possible, when you're thinking about saying the lesson, you can sort of try and arrange it as a principle. And so I could say sometimes, I'm not going to say always or never. A principle is sometimes God may ask us to take action without giving us all the information. That's a possible lesson. Sometimes God may ask us to take action without giving us all the information. Okay, what if we looked at this verse from a different point of view? What if we looked at it from Sarah, Abram's wife's point of view? Wouldn't you like to be a fly on that wall? He comes home and he says, Sarah, God said we need to move. Really? Where are we going? I don't know. Okay, so a lesson could be sometimes God may ask our husbands to do something that affects us, right? Sometimes God may ask our husband to do something that affects us. So, okay. If we were to say, does this verse tell me something about God's personality? Can I learn something about God's personality? When I look at this, I think, wow, God is a very confident leader. He's not this anxious micromanager. Oh, and Abram, don't forget this. Did I mention this? And when you get here, and another thing, and blah, blah, blah. He's confident. He says, Abram, go to a land I'll show you. I got this. I'm with you. You just go. I'll get you. Confident, not anxiously worried about how Abram, what he could do, what he couldn't do. Confident. So, okay, so we're going to go to the next step, challenge, but let me go back to the first lesson that we had, and that is sometimes God may ask us to take action without giving us all the information. That's a possible lesson there. So that's the lesson. Now the next step is called challenge. And the purpose of this step is to say, how does this affect me? How does this affect me? And so you take the lesson. Sometimes God may ask us to take action without giving us all the information. And you turn that into a question that challenges you. So sometimes a challenge can start with the sentence, am I willing to? Or do I believe that? Those can start off a challenge kind of question. And so in this particular lesson that sometimes God may ask us to take action without giving us all the information, a possible challenge would be, am I willing? Would I be willing to take action if God asked me to, but he didn't give me all the information up front? Would I be willing to do that? And then we get to the last step, and that's response. And that is where you are listening for what God might be telling you, and you respond back to him. Now, the most important part of response is to be honest with him. He does not want us to just tell him what we think he wants to hear. Oh, from now on I will always and I will never, and it's going to be all right, and I got this. And no. You know, sometimes we might need to put training wheels on our response. And it's okay, small beginnings. It's okay to say, Lord, right now I think I would be too scared to take action if I didn't have all the information. Please help me to focus more on you and not think the information is what is keeping me safe. You have the information. Help me follow you. Help me focus on you. Now that's a possible response, but you might need to back it up even more, to be honest, and say, Lord, help me want to even want this. I feel so far from this. Help me. And that's honest. That he can actually do something with that. You know, he can actually help us, as opposed to, all right, and just tell him what you think he wants to hear with no intention of doing it. So you just come as you are, and then God can work on that. He can help you.